All right, so we officially have a quorum because we're only missing one of the five. Yeah, one of the five members. So we have a quorum, so we can officially start. Um, so let's start with the fun one, the accounting. Um, Everybody had a chance to review that.
Well, at least there's a profit.
Yeah, which is actually, I mean, thanks to PayPal, we have a decent profit, which is nice.
For a change.
We should finally have that money back in August, between now and August 11th, I think it is. Um, so yeah, that was one of the nice things. We are actually not operating in a deficit for change, which is nice.
I do have one question about that. There were a few people that prepaid for their meal at the Lone Star Festival. Have we, or will we reimburse them, or how are we handling that?
We are reimbursing them as money comes in,
Okay.
refunding them. We're I think halfway through the mark. You have $100 coming to you, and a few other people and stuff. But we're about halfway through.
Okay. Well, save me for last if there's money. If anyone else is making, wants their money back, pay them first. And
Yeah.
if there's anything
I don't
left, I'll take it. But don't worry about
I
it.
don't think you owe me anything, Alan, but don't send it if you do.
Okay. All right. So one of the issues that has come up with Truist, which we talked about briefly back at Lone Star, um, they enrolled us in the check guarantee program, basically, where anything that comes through the system, they're going to pay it regardless if there's money there or not. Thanks to them doing that, we are $500 roughly in the hole with our two accounts with them. I sent them a letter letting them know that one, we never asked for it, we never agreed to it, we never signed for anything for this, and that it's a violation of two different laws, one federal and one local, and to reimburse us on all those fees. If they do, we should have about $200 roughly between the two accounts positive in our account. And I made sure that we stopped using those debit cards on everything because it was linked to most everything we were paying out on. They have until the end of the month basically to do something. We will see if they do or not.
Who was that
But
through? Oh,
sorry,
who was that through? Who did that?
Truist Bank. They were originally
Okay.
based here in Texas, and that's why I went with them. But they were bought up by a North Carolina bank, so they are now nationwide.
Mhm.
Um, but that's where that is on that one. So other things. So if we had not spent the money that was coming in for Lone Star and literally used it only for the Lone Star Festival, we would have still ended up with about roughly $5,000 in profit, which is nice. But as we know, we had so many other expenditures coming out that $5,000, which would have taken care of the dinners, we could have gone elsewhere for it. We could have done a lot of other things for it. But because we ended up having to use it for operations, we ended up losing money and stuff. Also, in reference to that, as all of you know that attended, that spare room we used for the reading had absolutely no air conditioning at all. I've requested a refund for that, and they have yet to respond to that. And I've requested other issues to be resolved, which they have failed to do. So what I'm going to do is go to Truist Bank, which the payments were made on, and challenge that charge for that room because there's no reason we should be paying for a hot room like that. Even after they worked on the AC, it was still too hot. And it made it miserable for people to be in there, even for the bank, the reception. It was just uncomfortable and stuff. Um, so to me, I think we should follow through and get that money back for that room. I mean, it's 300 and some odd dollars with tax and everything. I don't think we should pay for it. Does anyone have questions about that or?
Oh, that's great.
Now, also, are you gonna challenge they charged us for drinks.
Right,
we
that's
have-
what I was gonna ask about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right, that part has been cleared from our account as of this moment. That was $750 they were trying to charge us for that. And no, as of right now, that has been cleared away from the bill. We do not owe that.
Excuse me, Alan, did I miss the part where you introduced the two new members? I know Juliet, but
Yeah, we haven't officially gotten to that point. I
Okay.
wanted to get the
okay.
budget out simply because we haven't actually had a formal budget in these meetings all year, and we finally do. I finally sat down and made sure that all this was done. So everybody gets to see all the breakdowns of everything and stuff like that. So is there any questions about any of this?
I do have one. You're
Go
gonna
for
think
it.
I'm crazy. I have one question. About halfway down, it says strip fees. I didn't see a stripper there.
Stripe. Stripe fees. That's our credit card processing.
I know. I just had to lighten it up.
You're not
You were
showing
wondering
anything
what I was
on the
doing late
screen,
at
are
night?
we?
I'm sorry, Denise?
I don't see it. Am I supposed to be seeing something on the screen?
No,
No, he's
it was sent to you. It's
Oh, okay.
probably sitting in your junk folder.
Okay.
But she's referring to the Stripe fees, $365.
Okay.
That's, like I said, our banking company that we were using, are using. All right, with that, then if there's nothing else, anybody want to accept these?
I make a motion to accept the.
Then
I
for the board
second.
members that are here, everybody approve?
I
Okay. All right, so now let's talk about our new people. So we have two new people that would like to be on the board. We'll start with Juliet. Juliet, if you want to unmic. Everybody had a chance, hopefully, to review what we had sent about Juliet to you. So do you have questions for Juliet as to why she wants to be on the board and all this other fun stuff?
No, for those of us who met her
Yeah.
in person, I think she already more than qualified herself.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Appreciate you.
All right, well, with that in mind, who would like to nominate Juliet to be on the board?
I
I
will.
nominate Juliet
Denise,
that
all right,
Carlos
seconded.
to be a member of the board.
Okay, and who would like to second it?
I will.
Becky, all right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, welcome, Juliet. You're now on the board.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So also with that comes, you automatically get moved up to a level 4 membership, which is our highest level of membership. So you get to experience everything as we release new things, new products, new opportunities and stuff. So you'll be getting that as that progresses down the road and stuff like that. So you'll also be listed in the magazine as a board member. I've already added you into the magazine, and then I'll be adding you onto the website as well. Okay, now you are on the board, so do you have any questions for the board at this point?
Is there anything specific that I need to do or you guys do? I'm willing to do whatever. So if you have any specific thing in mind that you want me to take over or handle, let me know. I'll be happy to do that.
Okay, I see Denise Bryson is coming on. And no sound, no video, so there's,
Here,
hello
I'm
Denise.
driving, so I'm driving, so.
All right, no problem. Okay, so then the next person in question is Cleo. We've lost him. He's here somewhere. I just don't see him.
I
He's
see him.
here.
There
We
he
see
is.
him.
Okay. Yeah, I see him now. All right. So y'all got a chance to read over his bios. So this is your first opportunity to meet with him. So does anybody have any questions for Cleo?
Well, his bio was in spam, so I gotta probably go back and
Yeah.
read.
Yeah. Your email just doesn't like me anymore.
It picks and chooses what it wants to send.
The only thing I
Okay,
would
so
have to say is he's got a lot to offer us.
yes, it does.
Yes, I was going to say it's a very impressive bio, and I think as long as we don't scare you away, especially with this budget here, then I think you'll be a good fit.
What area are you in, Cleo? Are you in Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston? Where are you?
I'm in Houston in Cypress area. Cypress.
All right.
Mhm.
And Juliet, you are in Fort Worth, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So Cleo, tell us why you want to be on the board.
Yeah, it's multiple things. The writing and of course assisting the writing community and all of the things that are happening within the environment. I think advocacy is very important. And I'm someone that believes in walking the talk. I'm also someone that believes that in any type of platform that's going to promote it in a multitude of aspects. And what I've seen and witnessed with, of course, this board is something that, quite frankly, I like to, apply my time to. I think we all come to the table with different levels of talents, treasures, and time, and whatever I can offer, I definitely want to be part of it. And so that's it in a nutshell.
Appreciate that. Is there any particular area that you'd like to work in?
At this point in time, if you don't mind, I just like to get my feet wet a little bit, and then I will understand a lot better which particular area that I can basically gravitate to.
Sounds good. All right. Anybody would like to nominate Cleo to be on the board? Okay, Charlotte, anyone want to second that? Denise, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All righty. Welcome, Cleo.
Thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Great. All right. So now the fun stuff. Okay. So let's go straight to old business, the Lone Star Festival. So, bottom line, it was a disaster in too many ways. We had lots of people show up to sell their books, okay, which was great. I mean, it was a full house in that respects. Even with 2 or 3 people not showing up, we still had a pretty good house. However, because of a variety of reasons, people just didn't show up. So the question is, do we want to continue on? Do we want to do another one for 2026? And if so, what do we want to do to alter it, to change it, to make it better, to make it more workable, to get people in the door?
Well, Alan, when I was talking to Becky, first of all, when I think of a festival, I think of more that I don't think of just coming to see books. I think if there had been music and other activities there, food trucks or something in other to bring people in, that would have helped out a whole lot. So if there were a location that we could have more than just us selling books, if there was something else to drive people in, that would have helped.
Yes, and to be clear, the Lone Star Festival is supposed to include books, music, art, and film. And film has been really low on the podium. Now, we had 3 people lined up that wanted to be there to perform. One of them didn't bother to show, which is not unusual. But the other 2 wanted to be paid, and we just didn't have the money. So that hurts us. And we'll get to more of the money issue because we're going to be talking about the Austin grant again shortly and stuff. But yes, you're absolutely right. we do need to make it more than just the books. Even though last weekend up in the Dallas area, Irving, they had their festival. Approximately 100 authors attended that. I don't know the success. I didn't make it this year because we didn't have the money to go up there. I haven't heard
I had a
anything.
I had a friend of mine went, he said it was phenomenal. Every time I looked up on Facebook, one lady came, he has 31 books, and one lady came and bought one of each of his 31 books. He said he goes every year, this is his third year, and he said he did a phenomenal job. Said there was
So
plenty of traffic.
is that promoted as a book festival or just we called ours a Texas Creative. So that incorporated all walks of creativity. Should we concentrate for now on books and try to build? Anybody?
Explain that a little bit more, Becky. I don't, what are you
Okay.
saying?
Okay, so apparently they marketed that as a book festival. So people knew that they were going out to buy books.
Mhm.
We marketed ours as a Lone Star Creative, Texas Creatives. So they were thinking, we could have been, a few of those people might have been coming to hear bands and there weren't any, so they were disappointed or whatever. So should we, this coming year, concentrate on having a book festival and then as we build that up, adding other things, or just try again as is?
So the other thing too, because Becky, I know you've really wanted this to happen again. The authors marketing event, which was our classes that we did from 2016 through 2020. I personally would like to start getting that back again. And in the last newsletter last week or this week, I asked people, what do you want to learn and stuff. So I've gotten some response on that. So I would like to see us as the book festival and as educational sessions throughout the day as well and stuff. As far as the music and art and stuff, I personally would love to see that included, but it's not necessary at this point. Now, maybe necessary for the Austin grant because they're lean more towards the art and the music, and that may be one thing that will help grab us more money or some money. But y'all need to tell me, what's the direction we need to be going with this?
I think books, since if that helps us get a grant and we can afford to have all of those things, I think that's great. But if we are trying to be the Museum of Texas Authors, I think we need to concentrate on books, at least now, until we can get this built back up. Then we could explore, add other genres and different forms of art. That's just my opinion. What's everyone else think?
I have a question. This year compared to other years, how did it perform? Based in attendance
Horrible.
as well as, go ahead, please.
So our first year of doing the Lone Star, we had 1,000 people attend the festival itself, and it was outdoors. Other years we had anywhere from 100 to 250 people attending. This year we had maybe 50 people attend. It was,
maybe-
Alan.
I'm sorry?
What was that?
Maybe we need to narrow it to one day. And then the next thing is maybe we could get a name, somebody that is well known as an author, to come and be a part that will help to draw people as well. Since if we're going to just make it about books, then let us get somebody. I know we went someplace, and I think one of the authors, and she's no longer living, but it was like Nikki Giovanni or somebody like that came, and that was the draw. And then then the other people was, we had our books and things like that. And so maybe that's something. And I think another thing that's important too, with the book festivals, is that every author get an opportunity to speak, because then that helps them to be able to come to their table because they know what things are about. Just setting up some books and thinking people gonna browse by and that's okay. But I think people need to be able to speak about what they have written and things like that. so that it will draw people to their table as well. So that's just kind of I mean, all the book festivals I went to over the last years or something like that, because it's really disappointing to keep going to book festivals and you sell 2-3 books. That is not the point of the situation. It is to sell books. And so we want to be able to do that. So, but we need the foot traffic to come in. And so in order to get the foot traffic, you got to have a draw. It's just like anything else. It's like having a revival at the church. You got to bring in somebody that can preach, because otherwise they're not coming. And so, it's just the same thing. What is the draw? Who is drawing us in? Do they know my name? Not no. But somebody that is on the New York Times best-selling list, they may know that name and come. That's what I'm saying. That's my 2
So
cents.
to that point, I have spoken with a lot of agents that represent those type of people,
Mhm.
and the minimum cost was $5,000 for a 45-minute talk. So that's something that we have to consider for the budget.
Mhm.
Alan, one thing that I thought was good at this one, I mean, it was for us, and if there had been a crowd, it would have been better. But the media came in and interviewed, went around and interviewed. I don't think they interviewed everybody, but they, strategically, and I think everyone kind of got on the camera at one time or another. That was very nice. If media, like I say, could promote it beforehand, hey, we're gonna, go out there, that might, be a plus. And you
Yeah.
weren't sure they were coming or not, were you?
No, I had seen two of them register on, for tickets, but they didn't contact me. I didn't know for sure if they were showing up or not. And when they did, they did. Um, and as it was, the news report that ran at 10:30 on Sunday night, which was too late for us, was not totally about the festival. It was about other things as well and stuff, but related to books and stuff. I sent Denise a screenshot that she got caught in. I've been trying to get a copy of that, but they're just not cooperating on giving me a copy of that at that release. I'm not sure how else to go about it, but that would be nice to have for next year's website and stuff. Um,
Oh, and
so
that
yeah.
group picture you took, do we have access to that? I mean, I know you do, but I'd like to promote that on, on our web. Each of us could put it on our websites just to kind of repetitively get people prepared for, what's coming up next.
Yeah, I can definitely send that to the board members, no problem. It's also available on our website. You can actually, I incorporated it into a new video that's on the homepage of the website. So you might
Okay.
want to check that out. What other thoughts and comments, people?
The one we did in I don't know when it was, but the one we did in Galveston, where I brought my son with me, that one was very nice. It was outside. Is that the one where we had all the people come through, Alan? But I think it
No,
was not.
it was Seguin.
No. We did one in Galveston, and
Yeah,
we
we
were
did one in
outside.
Galveston. It wasn't our largest one. But yeah, we did do one in Galveston on the street.
We were outside the an antique store. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one was very nice. We were right on the street with a lot of vendors. There were a lot of restaurants, and people had a reason to come through, and the traffic was really nice. And so I enjoyed that one. The one in Seguin, it was too hot. It was just too
Yeah,
hot, and we couldn't.
yeah, you didn't go to the first one. The first one is when we had 1,000 people come through.
Okay.
So, Alan, I know we tried having something in Bryan College Station before. Bryan College Station is just exploding, unfortunately, because that is where I do all my shopping and go to the doctor and everything, even though it's an hour from here. And I hate it when the Aggies get back in town because it gets really clogged. But they are really promoting a lot of different things. And so I heard I think it was the Arts Council. They're looking for events to take place. Last year they had a soccer, the Mexico soccer teams. It They had a game there. It was a huge event. George Strait played, and it was like the biggest crowd in an auditorium. I mean, an outdoor arena ever. Um, anyway, they're just looking for all sorts of things. So I thought that maybe a book fair, a book festival, that might be a good option for us. So I need to get all the information for that and let you approach them with that. It probably would take a couple of years to get all organized because they have to plan it well in advance.
Okay. Speaking of another city, Corpus Cove, which is west of Killeen, there's a bookstore there called First Edition, and they're wanting to create something on an annual basis as well. But it won't be until next year. They have an event coming up that I emailed you guys about. And so we'll be there on the 20th for the Oktoberfest. We'll see what kind of response we get, and we'll talk with the owners and see what we can do to help them create it. Now, one of the things we had done a lot of events, and we were trying to back away from doing a lot of events because of the cost. And that's why we created the Lone Star Festival, was keep it to one event per year that we can afford, basically. But that didn't turn out so well. I don't mind working with other groups to help them create something, but I don't want us to keep being that main focus of doing things. Does that make sense? Because it costs us too much money and we don't get enough benefit out of it. And
I
we
was
just don't
thinking
have the
maybe
membership to support it.
I was thinking maybe if we did our Lone Star Festival at Bryan College Station, there's a lot of live music there too. It's really growing in different ways. So I was thinking maybe that could be, we used to change locations. Um, Austin, I don't know if it's central to us or not because, we're a statewide organization. So anyway, it's just a thought that I wanted to share, something that we could look into possibly.
Yeah, the reason for Austin was one, getting support from the city, which is questionable at this point. But two, it was central to everybody in Texas. And trying to find a home that we could build on year after year after year and stuff. That was the concept there and stuff. We did move the authors marketing event to different major cities to make it fair for other people in those communities to be able to attend and stuff, and that worked. But for the festivals themselves, it was a hit and miss in all aspects and stuff. Now, speaking of the city, so we've had meetings with them since Lone Star, and hashing out a lot of issues and stuff. Now, they just coming out with their budget and they're 33 million in the hole. So they're cutting back on some things, which probably means some of the grants aren't going to be available. But through the conversation, they were very clear on what we need to do to be more eligible for grant money. Having it this year, even though it was not as successful, it has stats that we can use to show that we gave value to the city, which helps us this year versus last year. Unfortunately, because of the changes they've gone through, the grants won't even open up until middle of August for us to fill in or to complete the application for, and they won't be awarded until December and money arriving in January, which is fine. It's not like we need all that money up front or anything now. January is fine for us. So if we get anything, then we're in great shape. And we can do what we need to be doing, especially on the advertising aspect. That I think was the biggest issue for us. No matter how much we put it out there in press releases, without paid advertising, it really is a big difference for people showing up.
Just a couple of questions. What is the cost of the festival?
So this year we spent just about $7,000 for it. Next year, the hotel we have been working with, we're looking at about a total of $12,000.
And is this going to be located in Austin?
Yes,
Okay,
if you guys approve the moving forward in this respect. Now, so that's $5,000 for the um, all the rooms, the banquet rooms, the meeting rooms. That's flat 5,000. The other $7,500 is food. Now, this year we didn't use the hotel for food because they fell through on so many issues.
Mhm.
But this particular hotel has already does an annual book festival for the Armadillo Book Festival, and that's summer. So they have the experience of doing it. It is set up differently so that we can properly advertise it inside the hotel, and it's large enough to handle it. The hotel rooms are the same price as what we paid this year. It's a larger hotel and it's situated so that people can see us as they come in through the lobby and stuff like that, because it's right next to the lobby. So being forced to pay the food, which is fine with me, because we wanted to have food available to our people anyways. That is an incentive. We just have to make sure our fees, the table fees are covering that expense. You know, the 12,000 plus whatever we get from the city and stuff like that. So that would be the
Now,
location. Now, the other location I wanted to have it at, we have to book 18 months in advance. So we can't even approach them until January of 2026 for 2027, which is fine. But that's where we're at on that one. And that one puts us more in the heart of the city. It allows us more ability to have the food trucks, the bands playing outside, things of that nature that draw people because it's also next to a big park. And
Mhm.
so it brings in more opportunities being visual. Plus, they have signage out front that we have access to make sure people driving by and walking by see what's going on and stuff. But again, we can't do that until January of 2026. So the hotel we're stuck with at this point. Um, again, it's just about a quarter mile down from where we held it this year. Um, and like I said, they do an annual book festival. The Armadillo Book Festival is there every year. So they know what they're doing. They have experience with this, which helps us a great deal. Comments
just,
and questions?
yeah, just one more financial question. So what covers the cost? I think you mentioned grants. Is that correct? Is that
The
partly,
table fee costs and grants are what we're looking at to cover the costs and sponsorships.
right?
We didn't have the sponsorship I had hoped to have this year because they weren't ready, but they're planning on participating with us for next year. So finding those sponsorships is a key issue, and I need help on that. I really do. So.
Okay. La- Last thing, and so one more question. Is the grant secured for 2026 already?
No, it doesn't open up until August.
Okay,
And then if we do get anything, we'll know in December, and how much we'll know will arrive in January.
okay. I know I haven't been on the board long enough to put dirt on the floor, but just a couple of things. Um, I'm wondering if in fact, I know we talk about Texas as being a huge state, but sometimes, when you're local, you have to act local. Is there opportunity for next year I don't know how many bookstores are located in Austin, but to use them as a vehicle to help promote and to bring them in. It becomes somewhat of a win-win. And I don't know if it's a book crawl prior to the week or a book crawl afterwards, but some opportunity to bring in local independent bookstores. That would also be able to, go ahead.
So to that, there's about 7 or 8 bookstores here in Austin, and we have been building a relationship this year with them. So yes, that is a possibility to work more closely with them for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I heard a couple of comments. I do believe regarding books. I agree. The book fairs and events that I attend are the ones that, if I have not attended, it's been through my network that have said, I can sell a lot of books here. And so, without question, word of mouth is always good. But I'm wondering too, if in fact, if there is, I know someone mentioned the fact about a draw. I think being able to have author panels and just particular, I don't want to call them TED Talks, but 30-minute talks that be able to provide some sort of content back for not just for those that are coming to sell books, those that are aspiring to write books, and those that are buying books, may be something to consider. So those are the things I just wanted to share.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. That was part of our authors marketing event where we had educational services. And so, Becky has been encouraging me to
I've
do it
been
again.
pushing you.
Yes.
I was going to say that, but
Okay, it's okay.
So yes, I want to add more of those in, and that's why I sent the newsletter out asking people, what do you want to learn?
Yes.
So we'll have it from the author's perspective as well as the writer's perspective so that they can learn things specifically to help them grow and become more successful.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I have a question.
And the rental fee includes those rooms that we will be able to use for that purpose and stuff. Juliet, you had a question?
Yeah, with that amount and with that price, what about if, because the grant is not guaranteed, what about if we do not get that money? Where are we going to get the money from to pay for that hotel? Because that's a really high price.
So what we need to look at are sponsors, corporate sponsors, to help cover that cost, as well as watching the amount of money that comes in from the fees, the table fees, to make sure that it's not too high, but covers that expense, which we did this year. We like I said, we would have actually made money this year. But because of how bad this year's event was, we need to make sure that we're not overcharging and we can get people in the door to do the event. But those are the two key aspects of the money coming in: corporate sponsors, as well as the table fees. Anything that comes in from the city would be used solely to cover the food costs as well as advertising, which is, like I said, that's the main factor for us, is that advertising. Because without that proper advertising, we're not going to get people in the door.
There is a cost, though. Is there a cost for someone to for the book, the people that the authors, was that the attending fee to participate?
For an entry fee? No, we don't. I don't personally like doing that because that's money that could be going towards book sales.
What was your question?
Yeah,
My question was, were we charging those that want to participate to sell books a fee to participate?
Yes, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you meant for people that were attending to purchase books, readers. We don't charge readers, we do charge the authors.
Okay.
This year, it started off at $150 and went as high as $250 by the event. And that's pretty much how we're going to start off next year.
That's the table fee part.
Yeah.
To explain that.
So
But
whether
Alan,
they're an author, an artist, or a corporation, that's the table fee.
Okay.
what, all those authors that paid money this year and came, what are we gonna do to get them to come back? Because they didn't make any money. What
Right,
are we gonna do to get them back?
Hopefully you saw the email where, I was very clear that, look, it sucked. So what I did is I offered every author that attended a $50 credit to be applied towards next year, and it would lock them in at the $150 rate instead of the $250 that some of them had paid. We only had 6 people respond.
I probably didn't, but I want to do it.
Yeah, the board is automatically
Mine was
included.
probably in spam. So
Yeah.
Yeah, all board members get a table because at some point you are working the event. So that's why I don't charge you guys for that.
Yeah.
So-
So are the Are the local libraries included as well? Maybe that's a draw. I know I've been to several events where the libraries were also, they had a table or something too, because that could be
Right.
a draw as well.
So we offered it to the Austin Public Library System, and we were told two things. One, they don't participate in any festival other than their own, and two, they do not support or share information about other festivals outside of their own group.
Oh. Hmm.
So as to what Cleo, is that right?
Yes,
Okay. So as to what he said about a book crawl, which I think is an excellent idea, if we could get those bookstores involved, could we offer them a free or very, very discounted table at the festival if they do the advertising to try to get people, their customers, to come down?
So that's a good question because when you have a bookstore there selling books, it's taking money away from the authors. Yes, they offer different authors, but that's a question. I mean,
Maybe
you're an
they
author.
couldn't
Do you
sell
want?
a book. Maybe it's not so much sell their books, but just introduce themselves. But I mean, you're right. We don't want all the money to be going there. I don't know. Just a thought to
Yeah.
get their
So
sponsorship.
we have to figure out that fine line. Where's that fine
What-
line that yes, we want them to be there to promote themselves, but at the same time, we don't want them taking money away from the other authors.
So not to be hogging the conversation because I obviously am. But but what I'm hearing is everyone talking about books and how to reach out to those. So that goes back to my question. Should we just concentrate on books this coming year? Especially if like Juliet pointed out, we can't depend on that grant. We've got to
Right.
be sure that we can cover our own expenses. So is it best to concentrate on the books? And if they say we win the grant, then we add in some other things.
So, okay, I'm fine with focusing in on the books and the education aspect, those two items. I'm fine with that. If we do go for the grant, which I think we should, especially after all the bitching I did with them about that. If we do get the grant, we can easily add in the artist or the music and whatever. I mean, we'll have plenty of time to add that in. We'll have 6 months to do that. But if the grant doesn't come in, then we're not out. We focus in right now on the book festival and the educational aspect, build those back up, and then progress depending on the grant accordingly.
And as if the is it the South Park, Austin South Park? That's the one we're leaning toward. And they currently have the Armadillo Festival. So if
Correct.
they're already used to having a book festival and they have customers that come out for that, I would think we could piggyback on already an established
A success.
a success.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, do we know
Yeah,
how
I
well
agree
they
with
do?
that.
Do we know how well the Armadillo Festival relative to books?
They have usually about 25 vendors, but their focus is mostly on the education specifically for horror, sci-fi writing.
Right.
And they usually have attendees of about 150 to 200 for that. But in general, they average about 500 people attending overall.
And how many authors? Or-
About 20 to 24 vendors.
Okay, and last thing, last year, how many authors attended or vendors?
For us,
Yes.
we had 60.
Okay, I was just doing math. 47 times 150, just using $150 is a little over $7,000. And so the if we're talking about covering the costs, because I think there was a good point about whether or not the grant will be enough. The goal is 47 authors to break even. But I also like the idea of those that attended last year for retention that did not do well to offer some sort of discount to show them some consideration. I think you've already said that, to
Mhm.
bring them back in.
Yes. And to also offset the cost of the dinners or that $7,500 food cost that we have to do, we will have a banquet and there will be a charge for the banquet. Then we will also have the luncheons that we can, determine if we need to charge based on how well we did at the banquet. So there are other avenues of money coming in to cover the food cost. So that's not completely lost. But for
Well,
this
how did the
specific, hey, what?
Go ahead, Denise.
Oh, no, I was just wondering how well was the banquet this year? Do we need to have that? Or are we doing too much? Because because I'm kind of, because we need to make sure we have the book festival part covered. So do we because I've been to other book fairs, they give you Jason's Daily Lunchbox and they move on. And so I just
Right.
wonder, not that we want to diminish the excellency of the book festival, but my concern is, are we trying to do too much and don't have, or do we have champagne taste on coffee money? That's what I'm trying to say. And so then do we need to maybe redirect and do something different, because we really want it to be about the people selling their books and having the authors there, the education there. So I'm just wondering that. And I know y'all probably think I'm always saying, well, we shouldn't do that. But I'm just saying that because we want it to be a success and not a burden. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So to be clear, for this hotel, if we go with it, we have the $5,000 space fee and $7,500 food fee that we do have to pay. We're going to be paying out $12,500. So since we're going to be paying that out, if we go with this, then we should have the banquet to help bring in more additional income to cover all these expense. The banquet itself was designed as and was previously where we did the award winners were announced. We did a speaker, and it was a social for all the authors. Every author's marketing event, it was always a social for people and stuff. So those did well. We usually averaged about 75 to 100 people attending those. So those were good. They were good money. This year, because of what the hotel did to us, is why it was a disaster in that respect. We had to cancel at the last minute because they canceled on us. So
Mhm.
we lost on that. I know there was people that were wanting to buy a ticket that day. They should have done it earlier. It would have helped us, but it didn't. So we'll have that same problem next year as well. Did that help address that, Denise?
Denise?
No, Bryson.
Yeah.
Okay, she went off. All right. Okay, we're starting to run short on time. We have a lot more to discuss. So if I heard correctly from everybody, we're kind of in agreement that we'll do the book festival and the educational aspect. And if the grant money does come in and they require to have the additional things, we'll work that out when the money actually shows up and how much shows up. Is that about right?
I think so. I think that's a good plan of action.
Okay. We'll have a board meeting way beforehand, in September or October, and we'll be discussing this in more detail. And we'll see where we're at and what's going on and stuff. Um, so with that, then we'll accept the agreement on the hotel. They only asked for a $500 deposit in August, and then the balance once we get the grant money in January, if we do. Otherwise, we pay it out with what money is coming in the door accordingly and stuff.
What's the name of the hotel, Alan?
Um, let me find it again. It is Austin South Park Hotel. It's at the corner of 71 and I-35 South. So it was just, like I said, about a quarter mile down the road from where we had the other one. This is a hotel that's about double the size of where we were at.
But is there visibility from
And what's the
35?
date?
So
Yes, there is visibility as far as signage, no. because it's too low to the ground and 35's up higher. That's why the advertising is going to be the most important thing for that. Somebody else had a question?
I was just trying to ask what the date of the event for next year.
It is June 6th and 7th. So actually the 5th, 6th, and 7th, because we always start on Friday night with the reception.
Thank you.
We talked about it, could have been in person, and maybe this is a question, if we have more to cover, this could wait. But about when we would have our classes, having them on one day and starting the actual book festival, or are we going to mix them again, or what was our thought on that?
I think in reference to what you were saying, I think the writing session should be the same day as the book festival, because they're going to be,
Have bigger attendance, yeah.
yeah. And then the other classes should be the other day, whether or not we do it on the same as the festival or do it half and half or something like that. We can work that through in our next board meeting and stuff.
Alan, I
Okay.
think when we were in Dallas, we had, a certain time frame when the book festival was open and classes otherwise.
For the authors marketing event in Dallas, it was strictly classes. There was no book festival.
Ah. Well, there were booths, but not very many.
Yeah, those were the sponsors.
Okay.
The sponsors and the talkers. They each had a table. If you gave a class, you had a table. If you were sponsored, you had a table, and that was the extent of that. There wasn't
Okay.
a book festival in that context.
Okay.
So, and that will be the same this year as well and stuff. All right, we need to move on because, like I said, there's a lot more to go through. Front porch readings. We've gotten really no response with that, so we're not going to be doing much with that. Even the county judges haven't even responded to us about those. So while it's a great idea, we're just going to have to leave that until next year and try it again next year. Voices of America, that's on track. That starts accepting entries on September 1st. We have a possible in-kind sponsor from Dexterity Books. I'll know for sure by August 1st. We've had lots of conversations, so it looks like it's heading that way. If they do come on, what they will do is the book layout and the book cover design, and set it up for us. That will be their in-kind cost. And then that way it'll be available nationwide for sales versus what we've been doing previously and stuff. So I'll keep you posted on that as that moves forward. Our 10th annual short story contest is wrapping up at the end of this month. We have very little entries. We're actually at about 6 or 7 right now. So, I know some of you are really good at doing those short stories, so get them in before July 31st so we can include them. We have everything laid out for the regular short story contest and then our anniversary edition. So it's just a matter of getting those entries in so that we have something of value to offer this year. Okay, so we had talked at the last board meeting about doing events throughout the state, letting people know, have an event up in the Dallas area in October. Unfortunately, all of that's just kind of like we got interest, but then nothing happened.
Alan, when you sent me information about that, I was telling you I still have the building, but I needed dates. I can ask for the building, but I had to have dates. So
Right, and I responded saying that any date is open. So I didn't hear back from you, so
well, it probably went to spam.
yeah.
So
So yeah,
I'll
we
check
don't have
into
enough.
it and see what I'll check into it and see what I can do.
All right, because I mean, 2 months to plan something like that is not a whole lot of time.
Well, we can aim for 2026.
Yeah, I'd rather just go ahead and do that. October
Okay.
26th, let's do that. That way you can choose any date that's available, and that should hopefully be more. Copper's Cove was one of those type of events we were trying to do, and then it got switched around. I'll be in Amarillo for their writing conference at the end of September, doing a class about the SB 12, which all of you, you need to be sending me your PDFs for your books so that we can get it into the program, which I'm jumping ahead here. So let me back up a little bit. All right. So the author meetings, like I said, they just didn't happen. We got a lot of interest, but it just fizzled out and stuff like that. So I can't push people to do things, you know, beyond that. So any questions about the old business? None? All right, so we'll move on to new business. Okay, so read safe ratings. As you all know, because we talked about it at the festival, so Cleo and you may not be aware of this. Texas has issued 2 new laws that affect books, SB 13 and SB 412. The way they are currently written is that any book that is in elementary school or middle school, their libraries and or related for those age groups could be banned for any reason. The law is very open on what it classifies as age appropriate, gender appropriate, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's really tough. So from that aspect, I created the Read Safe Ratings program, which we've created the AI to just go in, read the book based on the laws, rate it, both as a general classification like C for children, G for general, PG, PG-13, R, and C, so that authors can say, this is how my book is rated to fit within the law. We have just about 60 books in the database right now. Did you all have a chance to look at it?
At the what?
Look at the website, Read Safe Ratings. So you were familiar with it?
No, I guess I didn't. Is that only for books that are in school
So
libraries?
here's the thing. As of right now, it's primarily focused for elementary and middle school.
Okay.
However, we already know from the Democrats on those committees that the Republicans want to expand it the next session to include all public libraries and bookstores. So, Becky, all of your books would be up for review. Yeah. Even Cleo's poetry, Charlotte's children's book, as well as the nonfiction, every book is up for review. And that's why it's important for you guys to send me your PDF so we can add it into the system. The libraries already liked the idea. We had a huge response from them. When I sent out the notice, we had well over 500 libraries look at the website and respond. So it's definitely a value, and it is also a potential money income source for us as well. The minimum cost for any author is a flat $25 fee. We have other options that go up to $125 for different levels that they could choose depending on what marketing materials they want in exchange for this and stuff. But we've gone all the way up until November 1st that any of our membership people or anybody on the newsletter can get their books done for free. And so, I'm trying to figure out why people aren't connecting with it yet. And I'm sure they will once the law actually hits and they start seeing that people are, the law is written so that if your book is banned, you as an author can face up to 2 years in prison for it, $1,000 fine for it. Okay. So, Denise, your middle school book, about the fair, that could be banned simply because you're a Black author and it's a Black subject. That's how ridiculous these laws are. Okay.
So when
So
you
we
say
have,
when we send you a PDF, Alan, I'm sorry, I'm not abreast of the situation. We will send you a PDF of our book and you do what?
so I run it through the AI that I created for it that
Okay.
reviews, knows what the law is, and then spits out the information saying, matter of fact, I think Yeah, I have 3 of your books already on the system. So definitely go to the website and look at the database and look at how it's written out. Okay.
Okay.
So you can see your books there and stuff. Um, so I
Give
run
me
it
the
through the
website
AI,
again.
it spits it out, and then I send you the information so you have it. So if a library says, I'm interested in your book, you can say, great, because here's the qualifications for it. So you're within the lines of the law.
Give me the website again.
It's readsaferatings.com.
Okay.
Okay. So that's something that, I want us to officially approve and to move forward with as it is. And that's why I was trying to get you guys to look at the website and stuff. So this is a service that nobody else is doing. The libraries are already starting to support it. And if we can get the Texas Library Association finally to move forward and to support it, that will help us a lot. Not only because it's good here in Texas, but we know already, or I know already, that 6 other states have copied the law and are presenting it into their legislatures. Okay. So we can then charge authors all across the country for this service to
Yeah.
help them protect their books and stuff. So I do see it as a money income. It's going to be slow, but
Mhm.
we've got to build that list to make it valuable for everybody. So with that in mind, any questions about that?
Didn't I
You
see
know,
that it was the first book free?
well, I was doing everybody's free, especially since you're a level 4, all of your books are included in that.
That's money that we could be making, Alan. I've got
Yeah,
30 something
okay,
books.
but
Think about it.
Becky, you have how many books? You have 15, 20 books? You're
No,
going
I
to
have
pay
30
25.
something.
You got 30
All
something.
right. So would you
Okay,
pay
I lose
25
count.
bucks for each one? I mean, come on.
No, but
Yeah.
not just us. I mean, that you got to think
Yeah.
bigger. Yeah.
And that's why I put the deadline of November 1st, because I wanted to build the database more than anything. And that's why I want those PDFs in there, because the bigger the database is, the more the libraries are going to respond, the more the other authors are going to respond. Because this is also marketing for you guys as well, because now you have the classification that you can use in your promotional materials and stuff. Cleo, I thought I saw your brain working. You had a question?
Yeah, and the cost of this would be what?
Just running the website, which is right now at about $25 a month, plus my time, which nobody's paying my time anyway. So
Right.
what money we get coming in is icing on the cake.
Right, and I was just saying, there is a charge though for the authors to make sure that they run the
Yes.
book through the, and what's that charge?
So it ranges from, there's 4 levels. Bottom level is $25. The highest level is $125. With that, of course, comes marketing materials, promotion, stuff like that. So those are the 4 levels that they can choose from. Like Becky, or like anybody who has more than 3 or 4 books, we offer a discount,
Right,
a minimum of 10% discount on the package deal and stuff. Because, we don't want to break them. We also want to make money and stuff.
right, right. I think this is essential, and any author would definitely want to make sure that they avoid the cost of not doing this. And to me, that's the business case that needs to be communicated. And to your point, your point was your point, how to communicate it to make sure that it is compelling enough that people will want to buy into this? Yes.
Yeah, because I've done it from just the aspect of, hey, this is a new law you need to be concerned about. And my last post was, look, you're going to get fined X number of dollars if your book is considered banned. And it, I know most of our membership are not children's authors or YA authors. I know that, but they need to understand that this is going to become new for their books just as well in the next 2 years. So why not get it resolved now, especially in other states that are now taking it up, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma. When they take it up and you have your book sold in those states, you could be fined in those states if they considered banned. So I mean, and it would not surprise me if this becomes a national consideration once the other states get through, and also, of course, the court cases. But until those things are done, authors need to be aware of this.
So are we putting a disclaimer on there, though, that this is no guarantee that they
Yes.
still won't be banned, but gets
Right.
us one
This
step
is just,
closer?
yeah, an added blanket of security, but we cannot guarantee it will not be banned. Okay. Any other questions? We got about 10 minutes left. I have one last thing to work on.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
give.
So if,
Mhm.
go ahead, Cleo.
No, I do want to take a stab at this and help give you some thoughts on the business case. You know, and that meaning,
Okay.
what's in it for me? Why should I care?
Okay. So you have poetry, correct?
Poetry, children's
And
books.
you
Yeah,
do have a
children.
children's book. So right there, that's the most important one is the children's book.
Right. Mhm.
Because like I said, the way the law is written, they could ban the book simply because you're a Black author.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
And I
and it
understand that.
doesn't have to be on a state level, it can be on a local level.
Right.
And we want to take that out of that equation. We just want the book to be this is what the book's about. This is the classification it got, period. End of discussion. We don't know if the book's great. We don't know if it's bad. We're not judging it on those. We're just judging it on what the law says. And here's the classification based on the law.
Absolutely. Got it. Thank you.
I mean, that it sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
And to that, like I said, we do have a Texas Democratic representative and a Texas Senator Democrat working with us to try to figure out ways to incorporate us into the law in the next round, so that we become that source that um, makes it more easier for the authors. Okay, so if they go through us, hopefully then they wouldn't be banned in that respect, if that makes sense. So, all right. So if y'all are agreed to me continuing this under the Texas Authors Museum, please signify yes.
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 Anybody disagree? Okay. All right, good. So the last thing, and this is going to be a long-term conversation. This is not to be decided tonight. And this was the Texas Authors Press. Have y'all had a chance to read over all of that?
A little bit.
Okay. So we're not off. The objective for the Texas Authors Press is to give authors another opportunity to have a way to get their books published, not just self-published, even though that's part of it, not just hybrid, but because of who we are and the educational programs that we offer. If they become a part of the TA Press, one, they get access to all of that information, which helps them succeed. Two, the book automatically becomes part of the museum. So if something should happen to them, they pass away or they choose to just give up, we then end up inheriting that book as part of the income opportunities, like we did with Kid Me Not. And all of my books are listed with the library, so that's continuous income for the library. So on averaging, we're averaging about $25, $50 a month for income for that. That goes towards helping pay the bills and stuff like that. And so that would be something we would increase upon. But like I said, this is long-term conversation. I just wanted to get this conversation started so that we can build a press that works for Texas authors and only Texas authors. I don't want to go outside the state because there's enough authors here in Texas that need our assistance. But we could also then, those people would be included in the Lone Star Festival tables and things of that nature. And most importantly, the education that the authors would be receiving. Because right now, when they publish a book, they're doing it blinded, for the most part. I mean, y'all know what it's like to go out there and publish your own books and stuff. You've been there. It's a pain in the ass. You need that help. So that's what we're doing. We're creating a press that offers that assistance while protecting the literary history and creating a source of income for the museum.
So is the only option on that to give our rights after our death to the museum?
It's not the only option because we are splitting the royalties just like a traditional publisher is. So that in itself, if you for you, I know you have somebody in your family you want to give the books
Yeah.
to and stuff. So if you were to come on board and give us one of your books through the publishing aspect, those royalties would continue on coming benefiting the museum. If you chose to give it to that person, they could take it. If they choose not to follow through, then we would end up with it. But it would continue, basically the contract would continue and we would still split the royalties accordingly.
I know once once I'm not promoting them anymore, the sales will drop off. But right now, that's a pretty significant inheritance I could leave for my children, and so I don't. That would be my biggest drawback to it. Let me put it
Right.
that way. Is joining it.
Yeah, so it's not concrete where if you publish with us, you have to give us your book. That's not the concrete. Regardless, if you don't want to give it to somebody else, you don't have somebody in your family you don't
Mhm.
can't leave it to, then it would go to the museum. But regardless, those royalties that we would be receiving would continue to come in for both of us and as assist the museum, which is so important. Any other questions? Because now's the time to start asking.
I think we all need to read over it better and
Yeah, I do to get an understanding.
have a list of our questions for next time or later. So
Yeah.
I looked at it, I glanced at it, but
Okay, so the business plan is laid out, so definitely read it over and definitely feel free to ask me questions throughout the next few months before the next board meeting and stuff so that we can have something more concrete, because I don't see us doing anything officially until January 1st. There is a website up and running at this point, but it's minor, it's very basic, so that we can start building upon that and stuff. If, yeah, I mean, I have the experience of helping authors publish their books. Denise knows that, Charlotte knows that, and others. And I have published 60 books for other authors and stuff over the years and stuff. So that's where that background's coming from and stuff. So it's not like I'm creating something new. I'm using what I already know as part of this and moving it forward and giving the authors something new and stuff. But again, it was another source of income that I wanted to create for long term that benefits the museum and helps us overall and stuff. So, all right. All right. So I've got just a couple more minutes before I have to click out of here. Any questions, any comments, any thoughts, please share them right now. Let's hear them. Let's follow through. Come on. I'm hearing crickets. Nothing?
I think we need
All
Thinking-
to,
right.
We need to think about it.
yeah, and we need to promote our short book, short story
Contest.
contest. We need to do that. I did post
Mhm.
something, I think it was today on that, but we need to hurry and do that. And
Mhm.
you tell us our homework. What do we need to be doing?
Yeah,
So for the contest that ends July 31st, feel free just to keep putting out, liking and sharing the links that I have out there on all the social media. And if you're not sure, go to the magazine. All of them are listed there, so you can follow us on them and stuff. But just share them out. Just put it on your newsletters. Share it out that, hey, it's a 10th anniversary special edition that we're really pushing. We're going to do some extra marketing for. It's a great way to promote one of your books. Write a short story about one of your books. Put it out there. Even if it's a book you haven't published yet, but you have an idea for, test it out, write a short story, put it out there, see what the response is. So do that. And then when the September one comes out, I'll have all that marketing material available that you can also share and put it out there because that's nationwide. And so $25 entry fee for that one to bring in business.
And how many do we
You can
have
do
on
it.
it now?
About 7.
Yeah,
Usually
7.
we get about 14 to 20. So we're at half our usual right now. I know a lot of them come in the last week and stuff, but it drives me nuts.
Right. Okay.
So,
Okay, so we need to promote that. We need to be thinking about these other
the Authors Press as
Texas
well as
Press,
the Read Safe.
uh-huh. And anything else we need to be doing.
That's it. It's just we're going to continue to move forward with the Lone Star Festival as we discussed. And as soon as I know what's going on with the grant, I'll keep you advised with that. Because like I said, that should open up next month, about the middle of the month. So I'll see what the new rules are, what things, and go there. And like I did last year, I'll send it to you guys for your comments and your feedback, because I want to make sure we get something this time. And after all the bitching and complaining I did with the city over this, we better get something. Julia, you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Anything you want help with?
Um, no, really, I can't think of anything right now. I appreciate it though.
All right. How about you, Cleo?
Yeah, I'll have something here probably within the next few weeks. I think
Okay.
I can. There's a couple of areas that interest me, but yeah,
All right.
I'll get them over to you
This
guys.
Okay, and don't hesitate to ask questions because I'm always answering questions, so don't hesitate. The next
Oh,
issue of this, the magazine is September 1st. It's pretty much done. There's just some minor little things. I'm waiting on the sponsor to find out what they're going to do so I can add them in, and then some additional ads. But otherwise, it's pretty much done. So you guys will have that shortly after the 1st of August, so you can review it, make sure everything's looking good because we need it to look good. We are getting more and more readers on that, which is great. So definitely, when I send it out to you, review it before we publish it and make sure it's looking good, because it's nice to know we're getting more and more readers on it, and I want to see that become a good state
Where do we know where those
program.
are coming from?
All over actually.
I mean,
You saw the
how did they learn about it? I mean, what?
um, word of mouth and also on the newsletter. So we you guys saw the ads for the cruise that's next year. Um, because of the magazine, that's why they reached out to us and they took an ad out for the magazine to be in the magazine. Same with the writers thing up in Amarillo. They saw the magazine, they took an ad out. So those are good things. That's nice. It's not large money, but it's good money and it's good exposure for us. It shows that we're expanding and stuff. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So
Okay.
we're doing something right. Oh. All right, with that then, anybody want to close? Oh, Charlotte, did you have any questions?
No, I need to get you I know, I need to get you. I thought you had Charlie, but I will send it to you.
Charlie, I do have. I've already rated your Spanish version. It's already on the database, by the
Oh,
way.
okay,
So you need to just finish publishing it.
okay,
But the other two, your Mimo's Gardening and the other one, I need the PDF files for those.
okay.
Okay. All right, so don't forget to send me the PDF files so I can start adding them into the system so you guys know what's going on and be able to talk to your fellow authors about it and stuff. The more we get that done, the better for everybody in the long run. So if there's no other questions, anybody want to move to close?
Motion to close.
Okay. And Charlotte, you second it, I'll accept
I
it.
think,
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. One final vote. I'll agree to end the board meeting and we'll do it again soon.
Okay.
All right, I saw
Juliet,
those
keep
hands
in
going
touch.
up. All right, thank you
Yes,
all.
ma'am.
As you go through the stuff, don't hesitate to ask questions.
Right.
Y'all take care.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank
bye,
you.
everyone.
Thanks.